it was just too expensive to make it. Maybe this is the big opportunity to make an aquatic transformer. What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex Yu, and you're watching The Road to TF5. This is just Webster's. We're talking about Transformers last night. This is episode number 78, and we're going to start off with birthday shoutouts. Birthday shoutouts go out to Awesome Max 217, Mag Gaming, Jack Carter, D-Lo Gaming, Rafsen, Ahmed, Cactus Man 56, and also Jeannie Irwin. Happy birthday to all y'all. Hope you have a good one. Thank you for being part of the Ragin Nation. And I want to give a big Twitter shout out to Andrew McCoist, just for being awesome. And finally, a big shout out goes out to Rafsen Ahmed for sharing with me all these photos and videos of the filming of Transformers last night in London. It was awesome. It totally made my weekend. He messaged me on Facebook and said, "Hey Alex, you gotta check this out." And I saw all these photos and videos of the actual filming, and it felt like I was right there. So thank you so much for doing that for me. It really, really made my day. And a big shout out goes out to all your friends that were there with you. Jack Drover, Roha Owens Hamilton, Adam Smith, Alex Russo, Harry Lee, Miriam and Sophia Amirbayat, Jessica Quinn, Philip Davenport, and Alex Bonney. Thank you for all your support. So before I begin this episode, I just want to correct something from the previous episode. I mentioned there was a World War I tank. That is incorrect. I apologize for that. It is a World War II Tiger tank. Thank you so much for everybody that corrected me. I really appreciate that. So let's talk about the news, and we're going to start with music. And Steve Jablonsky, who composed the score for the last 4 Transformers films, is back. Did anybody think that he was not coming back? He's definitely back, and Transformers will not be the same without him. So I'm so glad he is back. He posted on Facebook that, well, actually it was a teaser for what he plans to do, and check out this photo, and it says right here, shh, secret folder, more later. TF5 theme ideas. So it looks like in that folder there's some inspiration for what we could possibly hear for the music of Transformers The Last Night. So moving on, by the way, I'm going to share with you some of those photos that were taken by Rafsan Ahmed and his friend Adam Smith at the filming in London, and we're going to first take a look at some Autobots, specifically Bumblebee, Crosshair's Drift, and also I want to call them the English Autobots. That would be Hot Rod, the silver Aston Martin DB11, which is tentatively called Cogman, and also the red McLaren 570S, which is called by the crew the Lady. And then, of course, there is Barricade. All right, and of course, there's also 2 Citroens. They're driven by Laura Haddock's character. And I don't know what this blue truck is about, but it could just be a car carrier. That's all I'm thinking. Could be just a vehicle, or rather a truck that's storing one of the vehicles. Okay, so that's what I think. I don't think it's anything special. And anyways, Rafsan Ahmed and his friends, Adam Smith and the rest of them all, were actually right behind that barricade. No pun intended. That barricade on the bottom left-hand corner. So that was pretty awesome to be that close up to it. Another photo that I'd like to share is, here's Hound. Here's Hound, and he's part of the filming. He's just separated from the rest of the group. And also, these are some photos from Adam Smith that I thought were pretty interesting. This is a close look at one of the London police cars. This is one of the SUVs that was driven during the London chase. And here is one of those TRF vehicles. This is a Mercedes SUV, and the license plate is KS16, not KSI. And here you can take a closer look at that logo, TRF. All right. So thank you so much for those photos. I really, really appreciate it. And now I want to give a big Instagram shout out to Emma Lambert. On Instagram, she is BlackSmoke1033. Check out these photos. She has so many great photos and videos on Instagram. You gotta check it out, because this will give you an up-close and personal look at the filming of Transformers Last Night, and definitely show some support. Give it a follow, okay? Moving on, the chase continues at Buckingham Palace. And these were photos posted from comingsoon.net, and I'm going to share with you some photos that really stood out to me. Here's Bumblebee, and then here's another close-up of Bumblebee, and here's Hot Rod. Right behind Hot Rod is these London police cars along with a motorcycle. I guess the motorcycle is going to be a part of the chase. Here's Bumblebee at the London chase with Barricade hot on his tail. And there's Barricade, followed by the TRF Lexus vehicle, along with London police cars. So this is one hell of a chase. This is a chase where the McLaren 570S is going off in one direction, and then Bumblebee is followed by Hot Rod and the rest of the Autobots, and Barricade is joined along with London police cars and TRF. One hell of a chase. This is going to be a big sequence, alright? So I'm pretty excited about this. This is going to make up one of the major sequences. You know how in every Transformers film there's always like something big in the middle of the film? I think this is the middle big sequence, all right? And it's going to be big. So, let's talk about the news, like some current news, all right? A lot of what I talked about was stuff that was in the past. Let's talk about current news, specifically where they're going to be filming. This was a tweet sent to me by HD Gibbons YT. It says, "Hey, hi, they are filming in Gosport Submarine Museum in Hampshire, England." So I decided to look that out. First of all, thank you, HD Gibbons YT, for tweeting that at me. You inspired me to look it up and do some more research on that. And, well, I decided to do a hashtag, or actually it wasn't even a hashtag search. It was just Gosport filming. I did a Gosport filming search as keywords on Twitter, and it came up with this from Hampshire Magician at Summer Greetings at Matt LeBlanc at Portsbridge, Nisa, and Transformers filming in Gosport today too. So they are really filming Transformers Last Night in Gosport. And what is Gosport? Well, let's just take a look at this. I did a hashtag Gosport, hashtag Transformers 5 search, and I came up with this photo. Movie makers' trucks have moved into Gosport to start filming, but what movie are they making? Local talk is Transformers 5 The Last Night. So I decided to look up some news websites about the Gosport area, and it turns out they will be filming. Is Transformers 5 filming in Gosport? Well, I'm just going to read you some of what it says here. Eagle-eyed residents were on the lookout for Hollywood stars after rumors circulated that Transformers 5 was filming in Gosport today. Trucks were spotted outside the Royal Navy Submarine Museum in Hostler Road amidst rumors on social media that star actor Mark Wahlberg had been spotted. Christopher Talbot, 17, from Alverstroke, heard about the filming from a friend on social media before heading down to the museum to take a peek. He said there were loads of trailers everywhere. There was about 10 of them, and you could also a big blacked out truck that some of the actors could have been in. We heard that Mark Wahlberg had been spotted and that security staff by the museum were letting people know that they were shooting there. Apparently they are filming there again tomorrow, so we are going to head down and see if we can catch a glimpse of any stars. The news were unable to reach the Submarine Museum for a comment this evening. So it looks like it is happening. They will be filming at Gosport, and it involves Mark Wahlberg. It could be just the beginning of the scene where Mark Wahlberg and Laura Haddock's character go into that sub and end up underwater. Of course, in the submarine. Now, if you're not familiar of what Gosport is, it's this district or a city in England, in the southern part of England, and it's right by Portsmouth. And let's take a closer look here on Google Maps. Gosport is on the left side, and the Portsmouth area is on the right side. And let's just take a look on Google Maps Street View, or rather the photos, what it really looks like. Here you can see that little closure, and there's a small entrance for the ships to go in. So this is a pretty unique location, and I'm so happy to know that the production is really utilizing all the unique landmarks of England and going to all different types of locations, and it's really cool to see the geography because this is a location that really, really stands out, and I'm wondering what's going to happen here from what we understand, there's gonna be submarine action. I won't say like submarine action in the sense that there's gonna be a big submarine action sequence, but they're definitely gonna use a submarine. After all, at the bottom left-hand corner of that giant banner, there's a submarine there. If you were, if you looked close enough. And also, there's of course that scene with Laura Haddock and Mark Wahlberg where they're inside a sub, and that is a scene which, of course, gonna have some significance to the story. Why they need to go underwater, I don't know, but I'm so glad that the film takes place in all parts of the world. And I'm not just talking about geographically, I'm talking about underwater, in outer space, in the mountains, on the streets. There's a lot of different locations that they're going in, and this is one of them. So, very, very exciting stuff. Having a submarine sequence in Transformers Last Night could be one of those concepts that were unused. Because I forget if it was Transformers 1 or Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, there was concept art for an aircraft carrier Transformer. And there was no word on who it was going to be, perhaps Tidal Wave, but Michael Bay liked the idea of a aircraft carrier Transformer. It never saw the light. It was just too expensive to make it. Maybe this is the big opportunity to make an aquatic Transformer, but it's not going to be in the form of an aircraft carrier, perhaps a submarine. Who knows? Anyways, I'm just going to follow up on the whole Blenheim Palace Winston Churchill Nazi fiasco. I'm pretty sure it was just one day of filming. The grandson of Winston Churchill decided to share his thoughts. Here's an article from The Guardian, and the headline is, Churchill's grandson Transformers 5 Fallout is dismal, idiotic, preposterous. Now, these adjectives are not actually referring to the actual filming. It's actually referring to the media, as a matter of fact. Here it says right here let's see, let me read this quote. This is from his grandson. They do as all newspapers do. They go until they can find some wretched veteran who is prepared to say Winston would be turning into his grave. They have no idea what my grandfather would have thought. It's preposterous. Why can't they make a film at Blenheim 75 years after the war ended? It's absurd. That's all I have to say. It's pathetic. Now, he didn't actually comment specifically on the actual filming in the sense of the context of the story. He's really just commenting on how the media is handling this, and that is to just throw negativity everywhere. And all you got to do is just get on record a disgruntled veteran, and suddenly that's a negative headline, and now you have all this controversy. And that is exactly what happened. Now, keep in mind that they're draping Nazi flags all over Winston Churchill's birthplace. It is offensive to British war veterans. It just is. But here are my thoughts on it. Really, here's my thoughts. Okay, here are my honest thoughts. Sure, it's a movie, it's fictional and all that stuff, but they could have chose any other location. Why they decided with Blenheim Palace, I don't know. But they could have picked any other location, and none of this would be such a big deal in any way whatsoever. It's the fact that they decided to pick Winston Churchill's birthplace. Now, let me just, put it in simplest forms, okay? Let's say that 50 years from now, a movie studio from Afghanistan decided to make a biographical film, or rather a comedic biographical, semi-fictional film about Osama bin Laden. And it included a scene where Osama bin Laden actually walked around the 9/11 memorial. How would you feel about that? I think people would be pissed. That is the exact same thing that's going on right here. it doesn't matter if it's 75 years later, or 50 years later, even 100 years later. The fact is that a tragedy happened, or at least a lot of people died, okay? So that's what it is in its simplest form, okay? Anyways, all I want to see is a fun summer popcorn movie with transforming robots, Dinobots, and whatever they decide to do, I'm just going to wait and see. And that's really all I have to say about that. Anyways, let's follow up with Twitter questions. Like I said before, in my previous episode, I didn't have enough time for Twitter questions, so I'm going to do Twitter questions now. And we didn't get to see a whole lot of that. He wrote on them and then he jumped off briefly, but I would have loved to see him, do more writing. And then moving on, there's